It's now time to clear the air. We know that Washington, D.C. is a city teeming with governmental games and professionals who view politics as a sport, but it's also a city full of professional sports teams. Our hockey team is pretty darn good. Our football team just snagged a superstar in the making. And our basketball teams, well, pray for them. Speaking of basketball, as I take leave of my prestigious hosting chair here in D.C., I'm heading over to the Verizon Center to catch the U.S. men's and women's basketball teams tune up for their run for Olympic gold in London in a couple of weeks. And yes, the first fan, President Obama, will be there too. Because, as you know, he's got a serious basketball Jones. And since he's the leader of the free world and his nation's teams are preparing to represent us in the UK, it makes sense for him to cheer them on in his warm-up game with Brazil. Here's an interesting fact. Most of the men and women on the floor tonight will be black. But they won't be hooping for their home teams or their race or even their gender. They'll be proudly representing the United States of America. And most Americans looking on won't think that's a problem at all. In that sense, LeBron James and Brittany Griner will have an advantage that even the president hasn't enjoyed with all Americans. That as a black man, he can also represent this country as our leader. Too many folks still think of President Obama as the ultimate other, as a man whose values or faith or outlook or race make him a stranger to American ideals and values. Too many of this president's political opponents have stood in cowardly silence while he is unfairly portrayed as a traitor to American principles. Too many American citizens have fallen for the okey-doke that President Obama is simply not who he says he is, a decent man with a desire to serve this nation with all of his brain and body, and instead bathe in the relentless stream of lies, half-truths, and false accusations motivated by ideology and, unfortunately, too often by race. Let's learn a valuable lesson as we watch our noble warriors on the gridiron tonight. That being black and American is a virtue that can help our nation win and prevail. We know a brother can pass a ball. Can the Republicans help a brother pass a bill? Now that would be a slam dunk worth watching. Thank you so much for watching. Chris Matthews is here to pick things up right now on Hardball.